we've been actually like getting a lot more organized and stuff and really seeing stuff. So once that IRS come knocking and the taxes start hitting, it's like, all right,
This
wait.
shit's different.
It's like, wait, I made this much money? Like, I don't know. Like, cause but yeah, I mean, like this year's been a lot different. We've been putting a lot more respect on the name, and valuing what we do, what we produce, how we produce it. So I mean, there's days back like a year ago would be a lot of broker days and a good day here, broke day there. But I mean, this year we're doing a lot better. I mean, we'll wake up one day and then boom, someone just pay 800 for a custom piece.
Yo, back again, another episode of Attractive Mindset. Today we got a super special guest. This man is actually the first person to get myself and Dan into the videography business. We were photographers at first, starting off ROV Productions and everything. And, ever since the beginning, since we just met him, super humble dude, super, if you need him, he's there. Like, he's willing to put people on. He puts everybody on the map. He doesn't get enough credit doing it. He's been in multiple different fashion weeks, multiple different states, multiple different countries. And, people got to really acknowledge the level of growth that he's done over the years. And it's indisputable at this point. Meet Mr. David Woods, a.k.a. Tony Visions.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me, bro. It's a great intro, dog. I appreciate that, bro. All love, ROV Productions all day, bro.
Of course. So, man, how did you even get into the fashion industry? Like, tell them what you do and then how you even got into it.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, I'm a designer primarily. Obviously, I do all type of stuff in the fashion industry, which if you're in the industry, you got to do so many different things. But I mean, really, I started, it was a regular story of, damn, I don't want to work for nobody no more. Boom, got laid off of this job to job. And then I just went full throttle, went 50-50 on one of my friends' clothing brands. So I dropped like 4K into it. We got a warehouse, not knowing what the hell we doing. So it's like, boom, we did that. Then we was printing tees and shit like that, easy stuff. And then I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna sell clothes, I want to know how to make clothes so I can really understand what I'm actually doing here. So then it was literally me. I bought like a $60 sewing machine from Walmart, and I just started fucking clothes up and just, taking shit apart, bringing it back together, reupholstering stuff. And I started doing that just over and over for like 3 to 6 months, learned how to sew, and then got put onto runway shows and switched up my brand, created an individual brand and a designer name, and just 7 years later, we're here. 7-8 years now almost. So yeah.
Hey, that's longevity. That's a good time frame. And so you kind of made the story vague. We're gonna go back and fill in some details.
Yeah, there's a lot of
how did you even get to the name Tony Visions?
Yeah, so I mean, after like 3 years of working with the other brand, I kind of went off as an independent artist basically. And when I got put into the runways, they were like, you need a designer name. I was like, I didn't even know what a runway show really consisted of. So then my nickname was always Tony when I was younger. And then the Visions was just another part we threw to it, because at that time, and I still at this time, when I get a focus, it's just like a tunnel vision. People get that tunnel vision. That's the route. You just go to it, and I really stick by that. Whenever I get that vision, I try to keep that vision, and I start to see it through all the way to the end. So we just went boom, Tony Visions, and it kind of flowed. So we I just stick with it.
Okay. And so your brand has like a trademark, like a logo. How'd you come up with that?
The main logo we have is this right here. Is the harp and the sword. So the harp is like peace, harmony, and then the sword is like, battle. So I feel like I love balance in general. And my name David came from King David in the Bible. So King David was, before he was a soldier, he would play music to King Solomon to calm him. So that alone is like the epitome of balance. He was literally he was a servant before he was a soldier. So that I put both of them together. It's kind of like a T, kind of like a V. So it was like, boom, Tony Visions. That's like the main logo right there.
Dope. So when people interact with your brand, how do you want them to feel? Who's your target audience?
My target audience lately has been like artists in general. I work with a lot of like musical artists, a lot of people who want to really stand out. Like one of my main pieces are usually my custom pieces. I have a lot of streetwear, t-shirts and all that stuff. That's for everybody. But like I try to focus on artists and people who want like the exclusive merch, stuff that is one of one. I want the audience to be like, yo, I love this piece. Cause if not, if they don't love it, then either they don't pay enough for it or they just don't get it at all. But then when it comes across that one person where like that piece like matches them perfectly, they're like, I need this piece. And that's like the person that I want to have that piece. They spend the proper whatever it's worth for it. I mean, that's like really my audience. People who are like, I wouldn't say just an artist, but like maybe an artistic mindset, something that makes you want to stand out a little bit more.
Got it. So this is something that you pretty much wanted to get into since you were a kid, or you just ended
Nah,
up in it?
not at all, bro. Like I said, I didn't know anything. I mean, I was in high school. I mean, growing up, like in high school, I didn't know you could do anything but sell drugs or rap or whatever, like that kind of stuff, you know. And then until I turned like 21 is when I was like, I got put onto other stuff, like oh damn, you could just literally like just start something and progress in it. And that's why like now I try to empower people as much as possible. I try to give people opportunity as much as possible. Anytime anybody asks me, I always say the first step is just taking that step. Because like if I would have known that when I was a kid, if you would have said, yo, here's a camera, here's a sewing machine, here's this, all you got to do is just start. Like there's no cost for that besides maybe even getting the product or whatever, if that. But like that's something that people don't really understand, is just you just got to start. You can learn new crafts. There's so many ways to make money off of different crafts. Once you just learn it, you practice it, and you figure out how to like market it. So I mean, I had no idea about any of that stuff. I mean, I was always fly in high school, of course. Like me and a few of my boys. Shout out to F&O Roosevelt. All of them. We had a little crew back in high school. It was called the Flyboy Crew. They were way flyer than me. They had the sneaker, the sneaker heads and stuff,
Yep.
where they had every SB, every Dunk, every Jordan. I had a few enough. I was the only Spanish kid in my school, so I was the one they pulled me in. They were like, yo, you fly as hell. So boom, I started rolling with them. Those are the people that just stand there at lunch, fly like this, get jumped like every other day, but stuff like. But I mean, I was always like coordinating from like my shoes to my boxes to my stuff. I was fly, but I wasn't even thinking in my head like this is fashion type stuff. I was like, that's how young culture, they look at it. They don't even look at it like that. Most people, they just want to be fly. They just want to look good. They want to look cool. They want to rock the newest trends. So then when I learned fashion, was taking it to like behind the scenes. Fashion isn't necessarily that. Fashion is actually putting everything together. You know what I mean? You could wear a white tee and turn something sideways and make it fashionable. So like there's so many aspects to it that I learned, that was like that's when like the industry has so many aspects to it as opposed to just wearing the clothes, you know?
Nah, facts. And so I'm familiar with your brand, and your brand I would definitely say is catered towards like garments mostly instead of just clothes. I wouldn't call what you make clothes. And so how did you get into being super exclusive on that level to the point where you like, I gotta sew my own shit together?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I mean, it was like when I first started, we would do pop-ups before fashion shows. We would go to New York, and we did that for about 3 years. We'd go to New York during both New York Fashion Weeks every year, and we would just rent a store. We'd get pop-up shops, and we would just turn some music on and sell whatever pieces we made that are custom. So the first piece I sold that really like, I don't know if it was the first one, first one that like really stuck with me. Like I had like a Levi's jacket, an old Levi's jacket. I stole that jacket when I was young, and then I just put some stuff on it. So really, it cost me maybe $15 to make that jacket. So this dude came in from shout out New York. New York spends money. They value art, all that. So
Facts.
so this dude came in with a Gucci bag and pants and stuff, looking dope. And he's like, "Yo, how much for this piece?" I was like 150. He was like 350. I was like, "Yeah." So obviously, it sold it. And then that was when I was like, "Yo, people really like exclusive stuff." Like, I mean, it just makes sense. Like, especially as an artist or somebody who wants to stand out. It's like, yo, to be able to say like, "Yo, this is my piece. Nobody else has this. Like, this is an exclusive garment. Like, if I wear this piece, like this piece says everything for me. I don't have to say nothing when I go out. I love doing that. I love wearing jackets when I go out because I don't like talking to people. But when I do, usually they come to me and they're like, "Oh, dope jacket, blah, blah, blah." And then it's like, all right, let me see if I really want to talk to this person, or let me just pass them to my boy so he can talk to him. We chop it up. But I mean, the garments, it's an empowering factor. That's what I really like it for that, because I feel I like it to empower people, and I feel like one of the easiest ways is make them look fly. Because once you put something dope on, you're like you already stand up taller, you feel better, you know, you look better, you know that your confidence just peaks. So I kind of use it in that sense.
Nah, most def. And so when you're creating the garments, like where do you get the influence from to make some of the designs that you do?
Yeah. Well, if I'm creating for an artist specifically, like a custom piece, I mean, I try to like look at their background, look at their profile, see what they like, the colors and stuff, obviously. But I mean, mostly I work around collections. All of my collections are kind of like worldly based stuff that's going on. I pay attention to everything that's going on with my family, friends, in the world, all that stuff, and I like to push boundaries and barriers a little bit. I like to talk a little shit. I like to say stuff. I like to go against the culture a little bit. So I mean, I try to take inspiration from things that people don't want to see, don't want to hear, but they kind of do. They need to, you know what I mean? And also just in general, like worldly matters, stuff that's going on. Like my first biggest collection was Genesis collection. I feel like that was at a time where there's so much changes going on in the world and all this stuff, and we was just kind of coming out of COVID. So even with the brand, I feel like I coexist with what's going on in the world. So I was like, this is Genesis. This is the brand new beginning. This is us starting again. There's a whole new vibe. This last one is Exodus, which is like just people like right now they say we're going through an exodus with people in general. People are leaving stuff. People are leaving stuff behind. So I mean, I kind of use that and the feeling of it. I try to portray through fashion shows and events and interviews and stuff like that.
I'm gonna touch definitely back on the fashion shows, but when was the point where you decided like, yo, I could really make some money off of this fashion lifestyle? You know, it's not something that you only like, but where you really was like, I can go 10 toes down in this industry and really make a an imprint.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I feel like I just got to that a few months ago.
Mm.
Like, you know how I am, like with that artist mindset, it's tough. Like, I'll have a great year and not even know it, because I'm not like I'm just working, I'm just grinding. But now this year has been better. Shout out my team, but you know, we've been actually like getting a lot more organized and stuff, and really seeing stuff. So once that IRS come knocking and the taxes start hitting, it's like, all right,
That
wait.
shit's different.
It's like, wait, I made this much money? Like, I don't know, like. Cause but yeah, I mean, like this year's been a lot different. You know, we've been putting a lot more respect on the name, and valuing what we do, what we produce, how we produce it. So I mean, I mean, there's days back like a year ago would be a lot of broker days and a good day here, broke day there. But I mean, this year we're doing a lot better. I mean, we'll wake up one day and then boom, someone just pay 800 for a custom piece. Like that's the type of level we're trying to get to, and then we're doing shows and you make some money off of shows. But right now we're working on the online sales too. Once the online sales go, we out basically. But I mean, right now, I mean, I've always thought about it in the sense of like, okay, it's something we can do because one, I enjoy it. I have everything I need, anything I want. I know I always gonna have to work for that. So I was able to get by at least. So I figured that's how I was like, yo, this is working. But now it's like I want this to like work for me. You know what I mean? So work even harder.
So did you ever have any moments where you were like, I quit, I'm done, yeah, I'm finna just hang it out?
Every day, bro. This morning. Nah, I'm playing. But yeah, for sure. I've had plenty of those moments. But moments like that are, I think, of what define people and what they do. Cause I tried, but trying consists of what, I don't know, like mental things. But I just can't. You know what I mean? I could say I don't even take breaks like that. Like I go on vacation, my vacations are work related, but I enjoy what I'm doing, so it kind of makes sense. So like when we go to Paris Fashion Week, you know, I go with the squads, we go with teams. We have a ball, but I'm still getting what I need to get done. And but I mean, yeah, a lot of times I just want to, just too much is a lot. But mentally, my mind won't stop. Like I always find myself jumping right back into it, some shape or form. Whether it's sewing, some I go months without sewing sometimes because I already have so much inventory anyways. So, but it's something that I just don't think I'm able to stop. But like I said, it's not just like I just designing all day. Like there's so many aspects to the industry, whether I'm working on referrals or contracts or shows or events or styling. There's so many things that like I just don't see it like me just not doing any of that. Like,
And so when it comes to the business side of it, and you tried to sneak that in there real smooth, Paris, like how do you end up in these places like New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, London Fashion Week? Like that's major. And you got
thank you.
major
Yeah.
magazines too, Forbes, all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So I mean, stuff like that, I think comes with consistency. You know, like I never really stop. Like you said, like I've tried to stop, but I just never really stop in general. I don't have that like in me. So like no matter what, I'm gonna go. And if I'm not even going that hard, everybody's gonna still think I'm going hard no matter what. So with that, I mean, I think that also comes with me, putting other people on any chance I can, because then that does come back. Somebody might reach out to me, put me on something, and I've done a lot of small shows that I didn't really want to do, but I did it. But that usually turns out to somebody be like, oh, yo, you know what? You should come do this show. Like I could do a show with 10 people, and one person might be like, yo, here's the link for this plug right here, and then it works out. So I mean, the next thing that we get the budgets, pull the right people together. Next thing you know, we in Paris. Like now we working on Tokyo next year, bro. We trying to get out there. Have it sounds a little more fun, bro.
and so I'm still missing the pieces of how you even get into that conversation. Like who do you hit up in these spaces? Who do you hit up in
Well,
these
it's
countries?
it's a networking thing. Like Paris specifically, I went to Paris 3 years ago, and we went there, and the only reason I went back again was because I didn't hit any markets. I don't feel like it was successful. We forgot that there was a whole different language over there.
Mm,
Like, so we didn't really connect, but we did. Like, whenever we go somewhere, I message everybody, and anybody that says Paris fashion, I just send mass messages out, and it's a knocking on doors. So I'm hitting up models, producers, shows, and some people respond, some people don't. We try to get as many RSVPs to as many shows and stuff. So we did that the first time I went to Paris. I made a lot of connections, and every connection I make, I try to plant a seed. I don't try to pull their card ASAP. Like, yo, help me with this, that. So I planted that seed. We left Paris the first time. It was whatever. And then we went to London and stuff, and much easier. So this time we were like, yo, we're going to Paris or Milan. I was like, let's go to Paris again. We have to do it right. So I mean, those ever since we left, these people have been watching me. So they're like watching me now. They're like, yo, join us. Like, damn, I should have let y'all in before, type stuff. And so that's kind of how we pull those connections. That makes
got it.
sense. Yeah.
And so when these places say these things after the fact, do you charge them? Like how is money made in these transactions or the shows? Like what's the structure for that?
So for me making money,
Or just in general, the brand itself?
so it can vary. Like the industry is very different. It could be me paying that person $10,000. It could be them paying me 5,000. It's really a matter of like a battle of who's worth what. If that makes sense. Like for example, this guy he charges $20,000 a show for that show we did. So he gave me a $10,000 fee, and then I pulled together like two sponsors, and we made that work. But then obviously it could get to a point where there was a designer next to me who's much bigger, and they paid him like 3,000 and for a flight. You know what I mean? Like it's a matter of who's worth what. But now you have to prove that worth. So now, I mean, hopefully, I'm assuming my fees gonna be a lot less than that. But it's a pay to play game at the end of the day. No matter what, it's who's bringing what type of value to the game.
Got it. So when you say sponsors, like how do you target and find sponsors to be able to help you structure these shows out?
Yeah. So I think that's something that comes with consistency too. People who watch your brand, like I said, I think it's very important to plant seeds as you go. Like it's not always a good time to pull people's cards. It's not always a good time to ask for favors. I mean, I think it's almost never a good time, because when you really need that is when you got to do that. So like I have a lot of people, sponsors, investors, and stuff like that they always, oh, I want to do this, I want to invest, I want to blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, cool. But if I don't need it, like, and if I don't have like a guaranteed in my head, like I feel comfortable with a return of investment for that. Like, what am I gonna do? Make $1,000? I mean, if I'm gonna take 10,000, I have that already. So why take that if you don't need it yet? So by planting those seeds, then they'd be like, oh damn, you're doing Paris. You're gonna do this. Like, how do I put my name on that? How do I get a part of that?
Mm.
It's like, all right, cool. Now let's talk. How can we make this work for everybody?
And so when you do get a sponsor, what's like the trade-off that you give to them?
So a sponsorship can go in like I would say maybe two forms usually. One is a return on investment, obviously, where you'll pay for my whole trip, and then that would mean that I'm gonna have to then actually make bread off of all that, which can be tough because a lot of fashion shows are done for portfolio, for resume and stuff like that, which is more like adding to your marketing and your resume in general. Or a lot of people with money, like the real sponsors that are good sponsors, they sponsor you, and they want like a small percentage of what you make off that collection or that trip, and a lot of that money is like almost like a donation to put their logos and put their brand up as an official sponsor for your show and stuff. So a lot of sponsor money doesn't really come back, but there is sponsors who do want a return of investment.
Got it.
So obviously, I want the other sponsors who are just trying to like donate. Like, yeah, here I got you. Take 5,000. Talk about my brand. Put my brand on the logo screens, backdrops, so that my brand is seen by the 10,000 people, stuff like that. But that's a different level of businesses who have that marketing budget already.
Got it. And so, do you ever feel like you got a lot of pressure on you trying to go against the grain as far as, just even your last show that you just did with the new company that you're part of, Fusion Fashion Events?
Fusion fashion
Yeah,
events.
Fusion Fashion. And so, y'all brought Art Basel to Fort Lauderdale. So, what was the process of that?
Man, pressure bust pipes, bro. Like I said, I love going against the grain, bro. Like we did, just to rewind that, we did swim week first. We did Miami swim week, and we brought it to Hollywood at the Hard Rock, and that alone was the same concept we did for Art Basel. We took Art Basel, which is a Miami thing, Miami Madness, and we brought like in total for the 2 days, I think we brought like 700 people.
Mm,
So like Thursday was dope, but Friday was lit. Like, but I mean, it's just we're in South Florida, and Miami's here, Broward's here, West Palm's here, but it's all South Florida. So I feel like it's almost like a different state everywhere you go. It's a whole different vibe. But we talking about 30 minutes. You go to New York, it takes 30 minutes to go like 4 blocks.
nah, facts.
Like it's crazy. So I mean but the money in Miami is a lot of weird money. Broward has some legit money. West Palm got the real money. So we're like, why are we trying to like, only do Miami, all this hype stuff, blah blah. And not only that, but people don't even do fashion shows during Art Basel as much. I didn't even realize that. And I was
Mm,
like, oh shit, this is way more than we're doing. So I mean, I like to stir up the culture, stir up the pot, and stuff like that gets recognized. People see that. Hard Rock is in our good graces right now. We're working on a lot of stuff with them, with the whole Fusion Fashion Events team. Extra shout out Mossy, shout out Kev, shout out Chris. But yeah, man, I mean, we just wanted to do something different. I love doing different stuff. We're the first people to do stuff like that, and it's something that we're gonna continue doing in general. Like we're working on different cities, different states. Art Basel is actually a whole company from Switzerland and stuff too.
damn.
No shout out to them. They sent us a cease and desist,
Mm.
all that stuff, bro. Like this, which is good. That means that we shaking stuff up, and people getting mad. They're like, hold up, they're actually doing something real. Like all these everyone else is doing Art Basel events, calling it all this stuff, and they have no problems, bro. So I mean, I think that's a good problem to have.
That is definitely a good problem to
Yeah.
have when they got the eyes on you. That I know you're doing something right, and so I want you to give them a little insight. So, if somebody was a brand new designer, or somebody trying to get in a fashion show, in your experience, what makes a fashion show successful for you from start to finish?
From start to finish, I mean, first know the rundown of the show. Like, how does the show actually work? I think that's one of the most important things. Like, I've put a lot of people onto producing shows, and then they go out and they do it themselves, and they do it for years, and they're never good. Like or they can always be better. There's always like a aspect that is like one key that's missing, and usually it's just a strong structure. Like you just need to be able to understand like a designer. I'm not just a designer, so I say like a designer or someone who's just a designer, they can't produce the whole show by themselves. They
Mm,
can't, because then they focus on the garments, they focus on everything that doesn't matter, because the fashion show is a whole different business as opposed to the actual production of the pieces and stuff.
So what kind of team do you need to produce a fashion show?
I mean, ideally, you need someone to handle your marketing, your PR that deals with all the people. And then you need the front of the house, someone to run the whole front of the show. Then the backstage. The backstage is where the heart of the show. Like that, you need someone back there coordinating the whole thing. And then you need obviously the music, the host. Like those are the very basics. But like the bigger it gets, the more help you need behind that too. But I mean, you need someone front, back. It's like anything. You need soldiers in every spot. Every outpost got to be filled because otherwise, if one's down, then it's gonna crumble. Like if you don't have anybody in the front, it's like it makes no sense. You have nobody in the back. You have nobody watching the models. You have nobody watching the designers. Like, and then everybody's just like, all right, let's go. It's like, go where? What you mean? What we doing right now?
Nah, facts. And so
Just hire Fusion Fashion.
true.
Period. Just hire us, bro. That's it. It's what we do.
And so pretty much Fusion Fashion, you're willing to do the back end events for designers.
Correct. Yeah. So we just started doing that. Well, I've done that myself as Tony Visions. I've done that, but now we have a full company. I'm sharing with people. So now we're working with other companies in general that want us to just produce to coordinate the show. So like you can hire us to just straight up be, yo, this is my new collection. I want to drop it. I need some people to produce a show for me. So like we can just come in, whether you got a big budget or small budget. Obviously, the more the easier, the more efficient it is. But so we're being hired now to like coordinate shows for people as well. So that all you have to do is just say where it is and get your stuff ready.
Copy. And so on a Tony Visions level, I know you've worked with some big names. You know, a couple of those names like Ray King and
Go.
Skilly Bang.
Skilly
You know,
bang.
stuff like that. And so, how do you get into those kind of connections?
Again, for me, it's all network, bro. Like I don't really, I believe in authenticity and just organic working with people, like people that I trust. So I mean, they put me in good positions when they can, and vice versa. So I think all of those connections. I mean, Ray King is my brother. I came up with him. I learned so much from him before I even really became a designer. So I'm blessed that I've been in his realm in general. Skilly Bang, Azealia Banks, J Balvin, Babe. That's just our network, just teaming up, just like opportunities arise. Obviously, like I would say it's important to work with more people. If you have a trustworthy team, obviously we're gonna put each other in position before we put someone else in position. And that's kind of always how that's worked for me.
Got it. And also on the Tony Vision side, I know you own, Vision House and everything. And so getting into that, like, having that as a studio, but also doing events, how essential is that to growing your brand?
Yeah, I mean, Vision House originally wasn't supposed to be any of that. Like when I first got Vision House, that's when COVID had just hit, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna be just stuck at home, bro." I'm like, "No way." So I mean, God willing, I was just looking. I was looking for a place for two days straight until 4 a.m. at night. And I found one on Craigslist, the most sketchiest site ever. I
Yeah.
found one on Craigslist, so we went to Winwood, we checked it out, and then we like boom, found the right spot, the right price. And then ideally it was just for us to work, for us to shoot, for us to have our own spot. But then it was like, why not just rent it out when we're not using it to people who wanted a studio? And then, as you see it just came to a whole business. It's like, all right, boom, that basically pays for itself now. So we let people use it. We facilitate it as a rental studio, photo, video, whatever you need, event space too. And then obviously, we have that's our workspace now. So hopefully we're trying to move to Fort Lauderdale, maybe have a studio in Wynwood still and one in Fort Lauderdale or a bigger one somewhere else. But I mean, we're trying to grow with that company in general. I think it's very important for creatives to have I always call it like a laboratory. Like, you just gotta sometimes you just gotta lock in, you gotta get in the lab and just focus. You can't, it's hard to do that from home. Like home is just so comfortable sometimes. You got the bed, you got the TV, it's like you got the fridge. It's like, so when you actually lock into your office space, it's different. It's so essential. And a lot of creatives, they don't do that, and it's got to happen at some point.
Got it. And so when you working on, building your brand, I know you do a lot of sidebar events and you even had us one point at damn, what's the name of it? the mansion on South Beach.
Versace?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Versace
yeah,
mansion,
yeah.
and so exclusive locations and places like that. Like, how do you even get into those type of places?
It's the same thing, dog. The network is your net worth, bro. Like, these are people who hit me up that they've been watching me. I never asked them for nothing. They see that I'm consistent in the game. They see that I'm the person that can put this together. And I value all my relationships, especially relationships where they have more money than me. So the big dogs, and I'm just here. So I mean, that's straight up just network, bro. Like, that's, I don't know how else to say that. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, your network will put you into positions that your money can't.
Yeah, that's the whole power of how you build your brand is, yeah, just like you said, your network is your net
Yeah,
worth. And
we out here,
so
we trying to build empires, dog. Like, if
exactly.
I need any production company, y'all my people to go to. If
Appreciate
I
it.
need my right hand shooter is Mike. If I need PR people, I got Kevin. If, anything that I need or anybody needs in general, I have them like close to me, and I feel like it's more comfortable, not just because I know that they could do it, but because I trust them. So when you trust someone, obviously it's worth way more than just knowing they could do it. I'm sure you know plenty of people that can get it done,
Yeah,
but you really got to think twice before, like, damn, but do I trust that they're gonna get it done to the standard that I need them to get it done?
facts.
Like, because
That's
that can
true.
ruin your business, that can ruin your image. Like, I'm sure, how many times have you ever referred somebody and they don't pull through?
Oh man.
Yeah, that's no bueno, bro.
Yeah,
That's bad, and it's bad business. And then once you do bad business with somebody, that's gonna stick with them no matter what. And then they're always gonna be like, maybe I should have hit them up again. Like, if I don't know, I just say I can't do nothing, bro. That's it.
nah,
Like, what you
facts.
mean? Don't you do this? Like, nah, I don't do that no more.
Facts. And so how do you balance passion and versus business? Because I do know that this is something that you really enjoy, but how do you separate the two?
Yeah, that's like I said, that's been a tough thing for me, but I think now I'm able to. I think my passion is making it easier to create now. Now that I'm kind of like mastering my passion, so now I'm actually putting a little more effort into the business, in addition to working with more people, having more people that can help with the business and that I trust, delegate certain tasks or different operations of the business to. That helps a lot. But like, me just knowing that I'm more comfortable in my creative stages and passion projects, like, I feel like I can, like, if you give me a budget, anything that I used to take forever to do, I can knock it out in a night type stuff. Nowadays I can, but now it's like, now I care more about, like, but am I gonna make money off of it? And how does this gonna fund anything? As opposed to before, I'll be like, whatever, do a whole campaign, be 3K short. Like, what just happened? Like, it was cool, everybody loves it, I'm popping, blah blah blah, but I'm broke.
Mm.
So now it's like, all right, boom, let's think this through a little bit more. I got more bills to pay. getting older and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I got to make sure that this doesn't run itself to the ground. So you got to slow down, and you simply got to understand that it's a business. Like, a lot of artists don't get, as I was when I was young, you don't get that you are a business. You are a business. You artist, cool. You could be the most popping, rich, but like influential and stuff. Like, I know people who have 1 million, 2 million followers, all this, but they can't even afford their end of the dinner. Like,
mm,
so it's important to, like I said, teams in general, having a team to help you, to delegate business, to delegate different tasks. I mean, I don't see anybody or know anybody that's a major artist that does everything by themselves. Because at some point in time, most of those artists, they die broke, and then everybody gets rich off of them because they were so focused on the art, but no one told them that they had to turn into a business.
true.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I'm blessed to have solid people in my circle that understand. Like, I've had to have conversations with some of my closest friends that are business associates now, and be like, yo, like, we can't do this anymore. Like, whatever that may be, that's harmful to our business structure, to our growth. And be like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. We can't do this anymore. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, it's like, it's not working. So
Facts.
like, all my partners, they make fun of me because I'm like, I'm a dickhead sometimes. Like,
Gotta be.
we'll be talking to like a client or something, and the client already, we were talking to somebody at the Hard Rock, and buddy, he already disappointed us on what he brought, And so they're having a convo, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this, this." So I walk. I'm like, yo, I was tight because I was already running the whole show, and I'm like, "Yo, so how does that benefit us?" And they're all like, "Whoa," it's like, "Yo, we just talking." I'm like, "Nah, but seriously, like, how does that benefit us? Like, why are you talking about all this that you already kind of didn't pull through? But like, how does this benefit us now?" Like,
You gotta have that level of gumption to be able to tell somebody like, bro,
yeah, I
this
know.
isn't doing shit.
Shout out Rich right here. This the man right here. This the goat with that. That's why I fuck with you, because we like that. We it's not that I don't even think it's that we're mean. We don't have time for no bullshit anymore. Like if you want to bullshit us, like just don't. Like
Facts.
just don't. It's not, and it's all love at the end of the day. We're just being direct about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all love, but I mean, we got stuff to do, so let's keep it moving. Let's keep stuff growing, but let's keep it. I mean, transparent. I think transparency is dope. I love transparency,
Nah,
whether it's a good
facts.
or a bad thing.
And so where do you see the next level of, Fusion Fashion and Tony Visions going? Like, what's the next step for you after doing something as major as, on top of the hard rock? What's the next level?
I mean, fusion fashion. I'm trying to take that to the top. Like, I'm trying to come for everybody's neck, low key, like in the production company. And we really launched that this summer, and we're already like, I think all the companies are already looking at us. They're like, "Oh, what are they doing?" Like, people are getting scared. People are starting to block us. People are starting to like, like we did that in like 6 months. So I'm coming for all of that in general. Obviously, Tony Visions is coming along with that, but then on the other side, Tony Visions alone is the same structure. I'm still doing everything I can to keep it growing to the max potential. So I mean, really, we coming for everything, bro, in all shapes and forms, dog.
And so me being around you for a while now, because I've pretty much been around you since I
Yeah,
want to say
basically
late
almost
2018.
since I like really started as a designer, like yeah,
Yeah.
because that was like early runway Gotham. Like
Hmm.
that was probably like my first like actual produced show. Maybe I think it might have been like my second or something. But yeah, I mean before that I was just working in the industry doing stuff. But then I was like, all right, I'm gonna really be a designer now. Like so like we've been doing this since then basically. Yeah.
And so since then, we've seen a lot of people come and go. How critical is it for you to make sure that you're in the right circle moving forward with, just business in general?
Yeah. Nah, I mean I think that's my circle is everything. That's why I have a very tight circle. But like you said, people do come and go. I've seen probably I don't even count or notice sometimes because for me, I always call it I have an open door policy. I give people chances, but that door stays open because a lot of times they just leave. It's too much. It's not for them. Whatever it may be, I don't care as long as I know I gave you an opportunity to do it. But when you're that close to that door, I don't care if you're there or not. I mean, I hope you stay. Obviously, I don't mean like that, but if you don't, then cool. I still have my circle. My
Facts.
circle is very tight. My circle is very, people that I trust. Again, people that I trust. Those people I trust, that door is open, but I don't expect you to leave, bro. Like,
Facts.
but there's people, a lot of people they come and they're random people, and next thing you know, 3 years later they're still around, or 2 or 4 years later they doing their own thing, which is just as good too. So that's still another connection, another referral, another contact that we have. But I mean, I think that circle and keeping the door open has been working for me. I mean, I go through doors, I come out on them too for other people, I'm sure. So
Okay, okay. So in 2023, is there anything that your audience should expect from you as far as like a new collection or
yeah,
a
yeah,
new
yeah.
event?
Yeah, for sure, man. 2023, we're working on a lot of stuff. We're in between Tokyo or Milan right now. Maybe both if it's possible, hopefully. And then February we're looking at New York Fashion Week. We're gonna go to New York Fashion Week and with Fusion and produce some shows out there. So we're working on a lot. I still haven't dropped off this Exodus collection yet. I've been prolonging it. I've been waiting for the right time. So that should drop by like end of January, the latest. And then we'll definitely have a brand new collection by the end of the next year as well, too.
Okay. And so I know it's definitely not on, Tony Vision standards, but
Hey,
I had to give you
I was
our
wondering, bro.
exclusive.
I had to rock this. I would have rocked this during the whole podcast,
You
bro.
know what I'm saying? A
The
track
large,
gear.
bro. That's
Yeah.
nah. I fit the large now. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you done put
eating,
on some
baby.
weight, but
We
yeah,
eating, dog.
that's the Attract brand. It hasn't officially dropped yet, but
Quality, clean too.
you got one because we're not making them like that anymore. So you'll never see another version of
Say
that
less,
again.
bro. You talking to the one-on-one God right here, bro.
Exactly.
Thank you,
But
my brother. I appreciate
of
this.
course, shout outs to you, shout outs to Tony Visions. You already see what he's doing in the market. You see what the team is doing, Fusion Fashion Events. They're making numbers out here, scaling, but also doing good business, good people. And so, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can find us all platforms at Tony Visions, tonyvisions.us. New website's going up tomorrow, which is Friday. And then you can find us at Fusion Fashion Events as well. And make sure to check us out. We got a lot coming. We got a holiday party coming up too. We got to let y'all know we'll be in the mix.
Okay. And so if you like it, like, subscribe, follow both of us, have an attractive mindset.
Attractive
We out of
mindset
here.
all day, baby. Let's go.